Hi. When I sit down in front of this webcam with the intention of making a video, another video on retirement, they are not rehearsed, they're not planned. If an idea comes up in my mind and I think maybe, I can talk about that as regards retirement, I do so. Now I know that my particular ways of looking at the world are not in congruence with a lot of other people's. A lot of people don't agree with my views, and I probably don't agree with theirs. That said, what can I talk about today? I was reading a book by the late famous Dr. Wayne W. Dyer, and in it, at the opening of each chapter, at the beginning of each chapter, he puts a quote by some well-known person. And these well-known persons are, of course, of a philosophical bent and often of a religious or certainly a spiritual nature. Now, I know this puts a lot of people off for a start. But in this one, I'd just like to read these two quotes. The first one is, "Those who have failed to work towards the truth have missed the purpose of living." Those who have failed to work towards the truth have missed the purpose of living. And that's by the Buddha, who lived, as we know, about 2,400 years ago. So that's a quote which has been handed down for a long while. The next one is, "Your sole business in life is to attain God realization. All else is useless and worthless." I'll read that again. "Your sole business in life is to attain God realization. All else is useless and worthless." Now, the very fact that I've read that out, there'll be a lot of people saying, "Ooh, that's not for me." Okay, so what is for you? When we retire, as I've said this in many of these videos now, we could be spending a quarter, a third of our life after our paid work has come to a stop. What are we going to do in all that time? We might not be of a spiritual bent. We might not be that type of person at all. But one thing is pretty clear. It's not so much what we do in retirement. It's what we are being in retirement. What do I mean by that? You can be doing lots of things and still be bored silly. They could be boring, monotonous tasks that you have to carry out, and your mind's elsewhere. You're bored. But if you are being a certain type of person who is enjoying what you are doing at the moment, you are being joyful. So it's very important to realize the difference between doing something and how you feel about what you are doing. And that comes into being. How are you being as a person? Are you being happy? Are you being fulfilled in retirement? Are you being apprehensive about the future, or are you being joyful that you have all of this freedom ahead of you? This business about doing and being is very important, and we need to realize it, because a lot of people, before they retire, say, "I'm going to do so and so," and this is assumed that they're going to find happiness in retirement. The usual things are, we'll be going on a holiday, we'll be doing this, we'll be able to do this and do that. But unless those things are bringing us happiness so that we can be happy, be contented, we are missing the whole point. I know this is rather philosophical, and it perhaps isn't particularly good advice, as far as the screen blanked out again, so there was a bit of a delay there. Not particularly good advice, but I hope you'll understand what I'm getting at. How we are being in our lives is very, very important. If we're being optimistic, if we're being joyful, if we're being spontaneous, if we're being loving, if we're being embracing of others, if we are being satisfied with our lives, then we're going to be a lot happier than figuring out what we are going to do. Once we are being something, we are being in the present, doing it at this time. Every moment of now, and that's the only moment we'll ever get, is important. Okay. 29 years retired in April, coming up in April. These have been very happy years for me in this respect. I've been able to do a lot and be in that, enjoying the moments as I am doing that. My hobbies have been, and are still, creative writing, speaking, telling stories, and of late making videos which I hope will be of some help to people who are just beginning their retirement and are wondering what they are going to do in all of the time ahead. Find out what you love doing and how that makes you feel at the time when you're doing it. This is the secret of success. Find something especially for you, your vision of what your life should be, and undertake it. Be it.